5-Minute Fridays. I am just about to start my 5-minute workout for today. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video, so if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, please go ahead and use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to see the exercises demonstrated and explained before we begin, let's go ahead and get into that right now. So first of all today, as you can see, I have a mat here. I have a light set of dumbbells. I also have a towel. I have my interval timer, of course, and I have my jump rope hanging up behind me, but I'm not going to be using my jump rope in the workout itself. I'm going to be doing a separate cardio session after the workout. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention because if you only have 5 minutes today and you just want to do a quick 5-minute workout just so that you get something done, great, just do the 5-minute workout with me. But I just want you to remember that these quick little 5-minute workouts are fine on their own, but they're also a great way to kind of warm up for a cardio session. So if you're planning on a long bike ride or a run or a tough hike today, you can do this little 5-minute workout with me as just kind of a warm up and just kind of tack it on to a cardio session or a more strenuous workout if you want. So that's what I'm doing today. As soon as this 5-minute workout is complete, I'm going to grab Rudebecca. Rudebecca is my adorable black jump rope with these cute little white skulls on the handles. And if you would like to know where I get my jump ropes, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code Rudebecca to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. But I am going to be resetting my timer for 10-second rest intervals, 20-second work intervals times 40 rounds. That's 20 minutes. I'm going to get some music going and I'm going to tack on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope immediately following this workout. And then of course, I'm going to go straight into my stretching routine. Remember, every single day, whether you're doing a workout or not, whether your workout is 5 minutes long or 2 hours long, it's very important to make sure that you are taking the time to stretch. Immediately after the workout is the best time to get your stretching done. That is going to be the most efficient and the most effective time to stretch because your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout. If you do not have time to stretch immediately following the workout, that's fine. You can get it done later on in the day. Just remember that if you wait until later on in the day to do your stretching, that your muscles will have gotten cold again, so you are going to need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before jumping into your stretching routine. But it's really important to make sure that you're stretching every day because stretching is going to alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing after your workouts. It's also going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward because as you are training your muscles to be generally more flexible and more pliable, you're increasing your range of motion and it will lessen the likelihood that you're going to strain something or pull a muscle during a future workout. And stretching every day is going to improve your flexibility, which is important in and of itself. I think that flexibility and mobility are both kind of overlooked and undervalued a lot of times as an aspect of your overall fitness level. So it's really important to make sure that you're taking the time to stretch every single day. So that is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to do this quick 5-minute workout and then I'm going to immediately tack on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope and then another 30 minutes or so of stretching, and that's my workout for today. So let's go ahead and get into the exercises that we're doing. First of all, let's just go over the equipment that I'm using today. So I am using my jump rope mat. Any kind of exercise mat is great. So if you have a yoga mat or one of those thicker exercise mats, that's ideal. We're going to be on our knees, so that's why I have the towel here. So I'm going to be using both the towel and my mat. I have this towel folded up and I'm going to place it on top of my mat while I'm kneeling on it, just so that I have a little bit of extra protection for my knees, because when you're kneeling for such a long time, it just puts a little bit more stress on your knees, and especially if you have bad knees, you're going to want something soft beneath you, and a thin yoga mat might not be enough. If a thin yoga mat is all you have, you can double it over a couple of times, and that will definitely help. But a seat cushion or just a towel folded up like this is also going to be fine. So definitely a mat if you have one, any kind of yoga mat or exercise mat. And then you might want to also, like I'm doing, pair that with an additional bit of protection for your knees. So that can be a folded up towel or a seat cushion. The only other thing I'm using is a set of light dumbbells. For reference, and for reference only, these are 5-pound dumbbells. These feel light to me. This is my lighter set of dumbbells. So if you want to add weight with me, fantastic. Grab a set of weights that feels light to you. Please do not use heavy weights for this workout. I do not recommend that. I recommend that you choose a set of weights that feels light when you pick them up. So if 5-pound dumbbells do not feel light to you when you pick them up, use 3-pound dumbbells or 1-pound dumbbells. And if you don't have dumbbells that feel light to you when you pick them up, you can use household items. Water bottles or shampoo bottles work great. You can fill them with water, or you can maybe make them a little bit heavier by filling them with something like uncooked rice or dried beans or kitty litter or powdered laundry detergent, anything to give them just a little bit of weight. They'll still be nice and light when you pick them up, and so they'll be perfect for this workout. So if you do not have anything that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to the workout, that's fine. You don't need the additional weight. I will be providing equipment-free substitutions so that you have a body weight version of this exercise that you can do right along with me, but I'm going to be using a set of 5-pound dumbbells. So 5 pounds is a good weight for me. You may need to use something lighter, or maybe even something heavier. That just depends on you. That depends on your strength. It depends on your level of fitness. It depends on what you have available to you, and it depends on how hard you're looking to push yourself today. So please consider all of those factors when selecting your weights and make the decision that is best for you. But that's all you're going to need for this workout. Something to kneel on, something soft beneath your knees, and some kind of light weights, whether that's a light set of dumbbells or a couple of shampoo bottles or water bottles filled with some sort of weight. And again, if you don't want to add weight, you can eliminate the added weight. And that's it. So there are 3 exercises. 2 of the exercises are going to have weight added, and 1 exercise is just going to be a plank. So even though it's the last exercise that we're going to be doing, let's start with the plank. So you can do an elbow plank if you prefer, but I'm going to be doing a high plank. We are going to be holding this pose for 1 minute. So whatever you feel is going to be more manageable for you. I actually think that it is more challenging holding an elbow plank for that length of time than it is to hold a high plank, but not everyone is the same. So if you prefer elbow plank, that's fine, do elbow plank. I'm going to be doing a high plank. So here's what I want you to keep in mind for your high plank. Number 1, you want to make sure that your head is in line with your spine. So if you imagine that you are standing with your back up against a wall, you want to just imagine what it would feel like to just lightly press the back of your head into the wall, and that's where your head should be. It should be perfectly in line with your spine. The second thing I want you to think about is that your shoulders should be away from your ears. And what I mean by that is that it's a very common mistake, especially if if you're lacking upper body strength, or you are lacking core strength, or just if you've never been taught how to do a plank correctly, or you've never watched yourself doing a plank, you might not realize you're doing this. But it's very common, so don't beat yourself up if you find that you're doing this. Just fix it, okay? Just work towards fixing it. But shoulders away from the ears, meaning that a lot of people will allow themselves to kind of sink down into their shoulders like this, especially as they become fatigued. So you want to make sure that you're pressing the ground away from you. So before you get into your plank position, you want to spread out all 10 fingers so that you distribute your weight as evenly as you can, and then place your hands on the mat. Hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Step your feet back so that you are in your plank position, and then press the ground away from you. Actively press it away from you, okay? Visualize really pressing the ground away so that you're up here as high as you can get in your plank position. So you see how when you get fatigued, it's going to be tempting to kind of allow yourself to kind of sink into your shoulders. So here my shoulders are all hunched up by my ears. We want to press the ground away. keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And my head is in line with my spine, so I'm not allowing my head to droop down towards the mat like this. You do not need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and kind of jutting your chin out. You just want that feeling of your head being right in line with your spine. So remember, your back is up against the wall. You're lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall. That's where you want your head while you are in your plank position. So head in line with the spine, shoulders away from the ears. And the third thing I want you to think about is making sure that your back is flat. What we are trying to avoid is an arched back. So again, it's going to be very tempting, especially as you fatigue, to allow your hips or your belly to kind of droop down towards the mat like this. But can you see how that is causing an arch in my back? We don't want an arched back, we want a flat back. So you fix this by tightening up your ab muscles. If you imagine that someone is about to come along and punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, and you're bracing for that impact, that is how tight and how engaged your ab muscles should be the entire time. Your abs should be shaking by the end of this 1 minute interval. So you're going to tighten up those abs, and you're going to use your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. All right, so if you just remember those three things, number one, head in line with the spine. Number two, shoulders away from the ears, so press the ground away from you. And number three, flat back. So tighten up your abs, lift the hips high, and keep them high. If you find that your hips are slightly elevated like this, that's not ideal. It's not what we're going for. Ideally, what you want is to have your body in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And really, the straight line should be from your heels all the way to the crown of your head, because your head is perfectly in line with your spine. Think of your head as an extension of your spine. That's ideal. But if that is too difficult, I would rather have you with your hips slightly elevated if you need to, because in this position, my back is still flat. What we really want to avoid is the opposite of that, and that's that arched back that results from allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat like this. All right? So spread out all 10 fingers, place your hands on the mat directly underneath your shoulders, step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. Make sure your head is in line with your spine, make sure you're pressing the ground away from you, and make sure your abs are super strong and tight and engaged. You're lifting your hips high, and you're going to keep them lifted high. And if you prefer to do an elbow plank, it's the exact same exercise. All of the same principles apply. The only difference is that you're going to have your forearms on the mat. That's all. So from your elbows to your palms, you're going to press into the mat, and from here you'll step back into your plank. But again, same thing, head in line with the spine. Don't allow your head to droop down like this. Don't overcorrect by hyperextending your neck. Keep your head in line with your spine. Press the mat away from you. Keep your abs strong and tight and engaged. Keep your hips lifted high. And that's it. All right? So the important thing is that straight line from your heels to your shoulders. So you want to literally think of your body like it is an actual plank of wood, like a 2x4. All right? So that is what we're going for. And that is our third exercise. So let's just work backwards. The next exercise I'm going to show you is going to be the second exercise that we're doing during the workout. So I'm going to grab my light dumbbells. I'm going to come up to a kneeling position, and even though my jump rope mat is nice and thick on this concrete, I'm going to be on my knees for 2 minutes straight. So I feel like I'm going to just be much more comfortable if I have a little bit of added protection for my knees. So again, if you have knee pads, that would be great. A lot of people have knee pads, right? If you I don't know, if you skateboard or play hockey or something, maybe you have knee pads. So that's another great option if you already own knee pads. Don't go buying them, because you really can just fold up a towel or grab a seat cushion, but that's another option. If you don't need them, if it doesn't bother your knees to be in this position for 2 straight minutes, don't worry about it. But I'm just using a towel, and then I'm going to grab my weights, and I'm going to start with my weights in front of me so that my palms are facing the front of my legs, and from straight on, looking at you this way, the back of my hands are facing you, okay? So I'm holding my dumbbells with my hands in this position. And then what I'm going to do is lean back. So what I'm going for is I want from my knees to my shoulders to stay essentially in a straight line. So I'm not arching my back to get back. I want to kind of, it's the same principle as our plank. I want to, as much as I can, try to think of keeping this straight line from my knees to my shoulders as I lean back. And that's basically the exercise, okay? So I'm going to lean back, and then I'm going to really engage my quads to lift myself back up. And as I do that, I'm going to use my dumbbells as a counterweight. So I'm going to lift the dumbbells up in front of me, all right? So holding on to my dumbbells, starting up here in this kneeling position. I'm going to lean back, lifting the dumbbells up in front of me, and then engage my quads to return to my starting position. And now from here, I'm going to add a lateral arm raise. So I'm going to take my weights from here in front of me to the sides of me like this. So now my palms are facing the outsides of my legs, the backs of my hands are facing the walls on either side of me, and I'm going to do a lateral arm raise, lateral meaning to the side. So I'm going to lift my arms out to the side. But I'm not lifting them directly to the side like this. I'm going to have them angled ever so slightly forward. So certainly not straight in front of me like I was doing for the first part of the movement, but not straight out to the side either. I'm splitting the difference a little bit. Maybe not quite a 45-degree angle, but I want my arms angled slightly in front of me, not directly out to the side. The other thing I want you to really be mindful of is that you're not locking out your elbow. So you don't want to actively try to straighten your arm for this. You want a slight bend in your elbow, all right? So the weights are here in front of me. I'm bringing my weights to the side and keeping a slight bend in my elbow. I'm not locking out my elbow. My arms are not perfectly straight. I'm going to bend my elbow just slightly, and I'm going to lift the weights not perfectly to the side, but ever so slightly angled in front of me. Maybe more to the side than to the front, but not perfectly to the side, okay? So that's a lateral arm raise. So that's one rep. Putting it all together, it's going to look like this, starting with the weights in front of me. And now lateral arm raise. Bring the weights back to the front. Lean back, using those weights as a counterbalance. Engage the quads to come back up. Lateral arm raise. All right, so even though these weights are light, it's a really tough exercise. It'll get really taxing really quickly. So if you need to drop the weights, you can drop the weights. All right, so you might want to start with weights, and then if they start to feel too heavy for you, or it starts to get too taxing, you can drop them. Now, once you drop the weights, I'm going to say you might as well just eliminate the lateral arm raise, because I really don't see where it makes a lot of sense to do the lateral arm raise if you're not lifting any weight. So in that case, I would suggest that you just stick with your quad raises, whatever I'm calling these, all right? So kneeling quad raises or something like that. So leaning back and then engaging the quads to bring yourself back up. Just stay there for the rest of the interval. So that can be your equipment-free modification, and you can also apply that if you start holding weight and the weight gets too heavy, okay? So that's the second exercise. So we've covered the third exercise and the second exercise. For the first exercise, I just need one of my dumbbells. So if you saw Wednesday's workout, this is very similar to an exercise that we did on Wednesday. We did this exercise on the mat, on our bellies on the mat in a Supergirl position, and it's really, really challenging that way. So from a kneeling position, it's much less challenging. You can also do this from a standing position, but I like doing this exercise from a kneeling position because I feel that it helps me to really engage my core a lot more. So if it's too much time to spend on your knees, even if you're using a seat cushion or a pillow or a towel or something, you can do this exercise from a standing position. So that way you'll only be down on your knees for one exercise. So this is an option. But basically all you're going to do is start with your dumbbell in one hand. You're going to start with your arms extended overhead. And now you're going to bring the dumbbell down and behind you. And again, make sure you're not locking out your arm. You're locking out your elbow. You are not actively trying to straighten your arm. Make sure there's a slight bend to your arm while you are doing this. And then you're going to switch hands. So you're going to transfer the dumbbell into your other hand once it is behind you, and then you're going to bring it up and around and then transfer it back, okay? So from behind, so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. I'm starting with the weight in one hand, arms extended overhead, and now I'm bringing the weight down and around behind me, transferring the dumbbell to my other hand and bringing it back up. Transferring the dumbbell again, down and around, switch hands. So you can see that the dumbbell is traveling in a clockwise motion the whole time. All right, so we're going to keep the dumbbell traveling in a circle the same direction for the entire work interval because we're going to end up doing this exercise twice. So make sure that you remember which hand you started with. So if I start with the dumbbell in this hand for my first time through that I'm doing this exercise, and my dumbbell is traveling like this in a clockwise motion, I need to remember that because the second time that I do this exercise, I'm going to make sure I start with my dumbbell in the opposite hand, and I'm going to make sure that I'm traveling in a counterclockwise direction with my dumbbell. So the second time that I do this exercise, I'll start with my dumbbell in the other hand, and I'll bring it down and around, same exercise. Dumbbell now is traveling in a counterclockwise direction for the entire work interval. Okay, but that's it, that's the exercise. So if you want to give your knees a little break, you can do it just like that from a standing position. I am going to be doing that from a kneeling position, just because, like I said, we're already down here and I want the exercises to kind of flow. There are no rest intervals, so I want to be able to move from one exercise to the next as quickly as possible without losing anything off of my next work interval. And like I said, I like this from a kneeling position because I feel like it helps me to engage my core a lot more. So I am going to be right here doing this same exercise from this kneeling position. So again, you just want to make sure that your entire core is engaged the whole time. So you want to make sure you're staying nice and upright, and you want that feeling again in your ab muscles like someone's about to come along and punch you in the stomach and you're bracing for that impact. But that's it. That is all 3 exercises. So if you don't want to add weight, then here's what I'm going to recommend. You're going to extend your arms out to the side, and then you're going to twist and tap your heel. Twist the other way and tap. Twist and tap. Twist and tap. Now I'm bringing my hand all the way across and tapping my heel on the opposite side. If your range of motion allows you to do that, great. If not, you can tap the heel on the same side, and that's fine. Remember, you should always be working to your own level. So without any added weight, your workout will look like this. First exercise, you can do your oblique heel taps, just like this. For the second exercise, you can just do your quad raises, your kneeling quad raises like this. And then your third exercise will be plank. Those can be your equipment-free substitutions. But that's it, that's all 3 exercises. So the format is also super simple. So we're going to start with one weight, and we're going to do that around the world with our dumbbell, okay? 1 minute, and you're going to have your dumbbell traveling in the same direction for the entire 1 minute work interval. Then with our next work interval, you're going to pick up your other dumbbell, and we're going to do our kneeling quad raises using our dumbbells as a counterweight, and then we're adding that lateral arm raise. So we'll do that exercise for 1 minute. Then we'll put the dumbbells down, we'll give our knees a rest, and we'll come into our plank position. So I will be doing high plank. You can do high plank or elbow plank, that's fine. You could do a bear plank, really anything you want to do is fine. But I'm going to be holding my plank pose for 1 minute, and then we're just going to go backwards. So from there, with my next 1 minute interval, I'm going to pick up both dumbbells, and I'm going to repeat my kneeling quad raises using my dumbbells as a counterweight, and then my lateral arm raise. I'll do that for 1 minute, and then with our fifth and final 1 minute work interval, I'll go back to those kneeling around the world with the dumbbell. You can stand if that's more comfortable for you, but I'll just make sure that I'm starting with the dumbbell in the opposite hand and moving the dumbbell around in the opposite direction. And that's it, that's our 5 minutes. So I think that's pretty clear. Just remember that I always do take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the entire workout right along with you. So watch me do it, read the instructions, but of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format, if you have questions about how everything fits together, if you have questions about any of the exercises that we are doing today, any doubts about how to do these exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions, if you need to see beginner modifications, I am right here to help, so please just ask. It's very important that you understand how to do the exercises correctly before you begin the workout so that you reduce your risk of injury, and just so you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. And you guys know it is equally important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. And I'm always here to help facilitate that, so please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. Also, please remember, especially if you are working out along with the video, to make sure you're going at your own pace and minding your form. Do not sacrifice your form for speed. It's really important not only that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, but it's equally as important that you are applying that knowledge during the workout and actually doing the exercises with the correct form. So if you find that you're just kind of racing through the exercises to go as fast as possible, yes, you want to go as quickly as possible. We're on intervals, and the goal is always to complete as many reps as possible during each work interval, but not at the expense of your form. The goal is not to do as many sloppy reps as you can. The goal is to do as many reps as you can with good form. So if you find that you are racing through the exercises because you're just trying to go really fast for the sake of going fast, but your form starts to get sloppy as a result of that, that means you need to slow down. If you're in really good shape, it's very likely that you're going to be moving faster than I am. You're going to be able to complete more quality reps with good form during each work interval than I am. You're just going to be moving at a faster pace, and that's great. If you're faster than I am, be faster than I am, just to make sure you're not losing anything off of your form. If you are slower than I am, that is also fine. It doesn't matter what pace you're moving at, as long as you are working as hard as you can, pushing yourself, and as long as you are minding your form. So if you're slower than I am, great, be slower than I am. Do not race to keep up with me if it's causing you to get sloppy with your form. All right, so that's what I mean when I say don't sacrifice your form for speed. The important thing is that you're doing the exercises correctly so that you reduce your risk of injury. And even if you end up doing fewer reps, fewer quality reps is going to yield better results than a lot of sloppy reps. All right, so please make sure that you are listening to your body. Be smart, be safe. Make sure you're working to your own level. So make sure your weights are not too heavy. Make sure you're minding your form, and just do your best, okay? Remember that your best is always good enough. so let your best be good enough. I hope I've covered everything. If you are ready to go ahead and start this workout, grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. In addition to that, you may also want to grab a towel or maybe a throw pillow or a seat cushion so that you have a little bit of added protection for your knees. Grab a set of light dumbbells if you have them. Remember, if you do not have dumbbells, then household items will work, so you can grab a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with some sort of weight, just to make sure that if you are adding weight, whatever you're using feels light to you when you pick it up. And also remember that if you do not have anything that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to your workouts, you have your equipment-free options. So grab a set of light weights if you have them, but if not, don't worry about it. You can do the body weight modifications that I showed you. Grab an exercise mat and maybe a towel or a throw pillow or a seat cushion so that you have some added protection for your knees. And then go ahead and pause the video, get dressed, and then meet me right back here. We'll do a quick 5-minute warm up, and then we'll get our 5-minute workout done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. So you're going to begin by just allowing your head to fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. So you're not actively pulling your ear towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head. Your arm is completely relaxed and you're letting gravity do all the work of just gently stretching the other side of your neck. And now we're gonna switch sides. So let go of your hand, allow your head to fall towards the opposite shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure your arm is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Don't let them creep up by your ears. Shoulders away from the ears. Next, we're going to do some head rolls. So you're going to start by allowing your chin to fall to your chest, and then towards the other shoulder and back. So back and forth, and each time you roll your head, you're just allowing your head to start to feel heavier and heavier. Your arms should be nice and loose like a rag doll, and you're increasing your range of motion as that head gets heavier. And now we're going to do some shoulder rolls. So just rolling the shoulders back, really exaggerate that movement. Make those circles with your shoulders as big as you possibly can. And then we're going to do arm circles, but we're going to start small with our arm circles. So you're going to extend your arms out to the side and start by just making small circles. But gradually, as the interval progresses, you're going to start making your circles bigger and bigger until finally you are exploring your full range of motion, making those circles as big as you possibly can. Now step your feet out so that they're a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Bend the knees and sweep the arms down in front of you. And then as you straighten your knees, you're reaching up towards the sky as high as you can. And then each time you bend your knees, you're expanding your range of motion a little bit more, sinking deeper and deeper into that squat. Now keep the feet right where they are. We're moving into side-to-side lunges. Add the arms. So with each lunge, you're kind of throwing your arm across the room, reaching across with that arm. Now step the feet in and march. Your knees are low to start, but gradually you want to start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest, until finally you're driving your knees up as high as you can towards your chest. You should feel a nice little stretch in your glutes. Now we're going to do the same thing with a jog. So nice light jog, starting with the knees low. But little by little, you're going to start to drive those knees up higher and higher towards your chest until you're driving your knees up as high as you can. Next is booty kicks. So it's still just a nice light jog, but with each step, you're bringing your foot up behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. For this next one, you may need to hold on to something for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips. You're going to transfer your weight into one foot, lift up the other foot, and just start swinging the leg. Swing it in front, swing it behind, nice and loose. we're going to switch sides. So you're going to put this foot down, transfer your weight, pick up the other foot, and just start swinging the leg. Swing it in front, swing it behind. You can start low, and then gradually start increasing your range of motion, kicking that leg higher and higher. Now transfer your weight again. You're going to take this leg, extend it out in front of you, keeping your foot low to the ground at first. You're just making little semicircles, bringing the leg around and behind you. And with each semicircle, I'm lifting my leg higher and higher. And then finally, I'm gonna drive my knee up in front of me, guide it around with my hand. Other side. So starting low, extending the leg in front of you, and just drawing a semicircle, bringing the leg around and behind you, lifting the leg higher and higher each time, and then finally you're gonna drive the knee up in front of you, hip circle. Next, we're going to do a hamstring stretch. This is our final interval. So you can see I'm using this post to help me get into the stretch. If you have a chair or a stool, you could also use the arm of your couch or an end table or an ottoman or something like that. Just makes it a little bit easier to get into this stretch, because what we're going for is more or less a straight back. If you allow your back to round in this stretch, it's fine. You're not going to hurt yourself, but you'll find that if you're able to keep your back flat while you do this little hamstring stretch, you're instantly going to feel that stretch intensify in your hamstrings. And we're just here for a few seconds. So if you really want to maximize the effectiveness of the stretch, it's going to help to keep your back as flat as you can. And keeping your back flat is a lot easier and a lot more accessible if you use the wall or some other elevated surface like a chair or a stool or the arm of your couch for that stretch. But that's it. That's our 5+ minute warm up. I always say it's a 5-minute warm up, and it is, but for me, the backs of my legs tend to get really tight, so I always just like to spend a few extra seconds in that hamstring stretch. But our warm up is complete. Hopefully your heart rate is up a little bit, and hopefully you feel nice and warm. Your muscles feel loose and are ready to begin the workout. All right, so my timer is set for 5 1-minute intervals. We're starting down here on the mat, so make sure that you have something soft beneath you. Make sure that you have a light set of weights. We're going to start by picking up just one weight. You're going to begin with your arms up overhead. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. Now we're doing these around the world. So you're bringing the dumbbell around and behind you, transferring the dumbbell to your other hand, and then bringing it up overhead and transferring it again. So the dumbbell is just traveling in the same direction the entire time. Remember to make sure that you are not locking out your elbow. Your arms should not be perfectly straight. You want a soft bend to your elbow. And make sure that your entire core is engaged and activated. Your abs should be super strong and tight, like someone's about to come along and punch you in the stomach, and you're bracing for that impact. There's no rest interval. So we're here for 1 minute, and as soon as the timer beeps, we're going to move on to our next exercise. So for the next exercise, I'm going to pick up my other weight, and now I'm going to lean back, lifting the dumbbells up in front of me as a counterweight, and then I'm engaging my quads to return to my starting position. And here I'm adding this lateral arm raise. So again, you want to make sure that you're not locking out your elbow. There should be a slight bend to your elbow the entire time. Also, you want to make sure with that lateral arm raise that you're not lifting your arms exactly to the side. You want them angled just ever so slightly to the front of you. So maybe not quite a 45-degree angle, more to the side than to the front. Weights down, no rest break. So as quickly as you can, coming up to your plank position. And we're just going to hold here for 1 minute. So remember, with your plank, you want your head in line with your spine. So don't allow your head to drop like this. You want to make sure your shoulders are away from your ears. So you want to be continuously pressing the ground away from you. And you want to make sure your back is flat, meaning that you're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat, causing an arch in your back. You want those abs super strong and tight and engaged. You're using your ab muscles to lift your hips high and keep them lifted high. After this, we're just gonna go backwards. So we're going to repeat the first 2 exercises in reverse order. So coming back to the knees, pick up both weights. Lean back. Lifting your weights straight in front of you as a counterweight. Make sure you're really engaging those quad muscles to lift yourself back up to your starting position. Trying to keep your body in one straight line from your knees to your shoulders the entire time. And then adding that lateral arm raise. So just lifting the arms to the side. Angling them slightly towards the front, making sure to keep a soft bend in your elbows. And now we're going to drop one weight, and we're going to do our around the worlds again. Just make sure that you're switching directions. So remember which side the dumbbell was in the first time we did this exercise. You want to make sure that you're starting with the dumbbell in your opposite hand this time through. And you should be traveling in the opposite direction. So the first interval, my dumbbell was traveling in a clockwise direction. This time it is traveling counterclockwise. Making sure your entire core is engaged. Remember, you can also do this from a standing position if it's too much stress on your knees. Hang in there with me, just a few seconds left. And that's it, that's our 5 minutes, we did it. Nicely done, but we are not quite finished yet. Remember that no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee, so we have just 1 rep left to go. Let's go ahead and do our bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you are ready, here we go, final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. I am going to move on to my 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. But if you are finished for the day, let's go ahead and just do a quick little cool down together. So you just want to kind of pace around for a few minutes. Keep moving, keep the legs moving, keep the arms moving. You just want to kind of keep the circulation going while you allow your heart rate to come down and while you allow your breathing to normalize. So you really can just kind of pace around a little bit, swing out the arms, shake out the legs. You can do a quick shoulder stretch by just bringing one arm across your body, using the opposite arm to pull it in towards your chest. Make sure that your shoulders are completely relaxed, and make sure the arm that's being stretched is completely relaxed. Your other arm is doing all the work. We'll switch sides, so shake it out, bring the opposite arm across your body and use your other arm to pull it in towards your chest. Make sure your straight arm is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. If your shoulder is all hunched up by your ear and tense, you are not getting the benefit of this stretch. Your muscle can't stretch when it's tense. So make sure your shoulder's relaxed so you can really feel that stretch. Shake it out, we'll do a quick tricep stretch. So bending your elbow and placing the opposite hand on that elbow and gently pulling your elbow towards the opposite shoulder. Really feeling that stretch in your triceps. Make sure that your free hand is completely relaxed and the fingers are pointing down at the ground. You don't want this hand hanging out up here by your shoulder or somewhere. All right, just relax the arm so that you get that stretch. Switching sides, so shake it out. Bend the opposite arm. Place your hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that those shoulders are nice and relaxed, making sure that your free hand is relaxed, pointing straight down towards the ground. Shake it out. We'll do a quick quad stretch. If you need to hold on to the wall or a chair for support, that's fine. If not, just bend your leg, bring your foot up behind you. Reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands, and then you're going to press your heel into your booty cheek, really feeling that stretch in the front of your legs. Well, in the front of the one leg anyway. And as you're doing that, you want to make sure that you are tilting your pelvis forward. So let's switch legs and I'll show you from the side. You'll be able to see what I mean better. So bend the opposite knee, bring the foot up behind you, reach back and grab a hold of the top of your foot with both hands. And now you're pressing this heel into your booty cheek. And as you do that, you want to tilt your pelvis forward so that you're kind of tucking your booty underneath you and sucking your belly button back towards your spine. Imagine trying to touch your spine with your belly button. Continuing to press the heel into your booty cheek. As soon as you combine both of those, you're instantly going to feel that stretch intensify in your quad. Just really increases the effectiveness of the stretch. Shake it out. Shake out the legs, shake out the hands, swing the arms a little bit. If you feel that you're still breathing heavily and your heart rate is still elevated, just take a few more minutes to pace around. You can do a little bit more light stretching, and once you feel that you are completely cooled down, you can stop. So if you are not adding on any cardio or moving on to a longer, more strenuous workout, and you are done for the day, please remember that now is the best time to get your stretching done. 15-20 minutes is great. More is better if you have the time. You don't need to overdo it and stretch for like 3 hours, but I usually like to take at least 30 minutes for my stretching routine, but 15 to 20 minutes is sufficient. And remember that now is going to be the most effective and the most efficient time to get your stretching done. If you do not have time to stretch now, that's fine. You can do it later in the day. Just remember that your muscles will have gotten cold again, so you will need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before jumping into your stretching routine. But it doesn't matter when you get your stretching done. The only important thing is that you are getting it done. Please don't skip your stretching. It is going to help alleviate muscle soreness. It is going to help reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and it's going to improve your flexibility. If you need a stretching routine, you don't know where to begin, it's really easy. There's a ton of stretching routines, and a lot of them are geared towards beginners or geared specifically towards people with really tight muscles. So do a YouTube search, look at a few videos, see what looks good to you, see what you think is going to work for you. It doesn't matter what you do for your stretching routine, just as long as you get it done. If you are interested in the specific stretching routine that I do every day, I'm happy to share that link with you, so please just ask. But that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did this little 5-minute workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything is unclear with the format, if you have questions about the exercises we were doing today, any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions beyond what I have already provided. If you need to see beginner modifications, I am right here to help, so please just ask. If you enjoy these little 5-minute workouts and you would like to see more of them, please remember that I have an entire playlist of 5-minute workouts on my channel. I will link it right there. And we will be continuing to do these 5-minute Fridays every week for the foreseeable future. So that means that I will be continuing to bring you at least one new 5-minute workout a week every week for the foreseeable future. That is going to do it for today. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye.